Good evening. This is CTV News for Wednesday, June 4th. I'm Byron Scott.
And I'm Rochelle Metzger. Thank you for joining us tonight. Prince George's police are investigating a murder at a motel in College Park. Just after 1 p.m. Tuesday, an employee reportedly found the body of a woman in a second-floor room of the Ramada Inn on Baltimore Avenue. County police say the victim, an adult female in her 30s, died from an apparent gunshot wound. Detectives are combing through evidence collected from the scene and working to establish a motive for the shooting.
Right now, detectives are actively conducting this murder investigation. Today, we identified the victim in this case, who was a 25-year-old woman from Far Rockaway, New York, Katina Cortez. Detectives spent hours, as you know, poring over that motel room yesterday and conducting a 3D crime scan to sort of capture what that room looked like to preserve the crime scene. We can't get into specifics.
Anyone with information can call the anonymous Crime Solvers hotline at 1-866-411-TIPS. A reward of up to $25,000 is offered to anyone who provides information leading to an arrest and indictment in this case.
And 2 firefighters are injured following one of 2 heavy residential blazes across the county yesterday afternoon. Crews responded to the 5400 block 5409 Emerson Street in Bladensburg at around 3:30 p.m. Upon arrival, they found thick smoke and fire coming from the rear and through the windows of the 1.5-story home.
They were able to enter the house, do a quick search, and they determined that nobody was home. They were able to extinguish the fire. It took them about 30 minutes. The cause of that fire has been determined to be a malfunctioning electrical cord which overheated and ignited nearby combustibles. We had 2 firefighters injured. The first one from the Berwyn Heights Volunteer Fire Department sustained a laceration to his hand. He was transported to a nearby hospital where he was treated and released. The second fire, a volunteer firefighter from the Riverdale Fire Department, sustained smoke and burn-related injuries to his upper body, including his airway, which is probably the most critical place to sustain a burn injury. He was transported to the burn center at the Washington Hospital Center, where he was immediately intubated and admitted to the hospital for at least the next few days for continued observation and treatment.
Well, earlier that afternoon, emergency workers battled a brutal blaze in Accokeek. Around 12 o'clock, crews arrived to a well-advanced fire in the 1900 block of Bryan Point Road. It took an hour to knock down the bulk of the flames. No one's injured, or in the building, I should say, when that fire started.
Well, Byron, June marks the beginning of hurricane season. Locally, you might remember past devastations like Hurricane Sandy and the derecho of 2012 that brought displaced residents and down power lines. Both Pepco and the American Red Cross are prepared, and they want the public to be as well. CTV's Stephen Graves has the story.
According to the National Oceanic and Atmospheric Administration, also known as NOAA, this hurricane season 2014 is predicted to be mild or close to normal. But that doesn't mean residents like you should not be prepared. Today, the American Red Cross and Pepco are out informing residents how to stay safe during a time of a hurricane. Pepco even went as far to demonstrate a fuse blow and tips for how residents should stay away from fallen tree limbs or coming near any type of electrical current.
We've got no business in and around any of our equipment.
Let's do this, and let's do it together. Let's do it now. In the midst of a storm is not the time to be preparing. The time to do it when the sun is shining on a beautiful day like this. And I ask everybody to take at least one action today to create or update, improve your preparedness plans and those of your loved ones.
Yeah, Maryland has threats from hurricanes. I mean, just like New York City with Sandy, I mean, we're at threat because we're along the shores of the ocean. It's not quite as great a threat as those parts of the country that stick out into more tropical parts of the Atlantic, like Florida and like Cape Hatteras. But storms can go through those, they can come around and come at us directly from the ocean. So just because we have less of a threat doesn't, it's actually more dangerous because people don't have that experience regularly. And when we get a big storm one of these days, it's really going to be hard to convince people of what the devastation can be.
So what can you do right now to prepare for a hurricane? Well, the Red Cross says to have essentials such as a flashlight, Band-Aid kit, and a hand crank radio to power your cell phone, and keep it all in a cooler so it does not get wet. They also have a mobile app to keep you updated on emergency information. From Rockville, this is Stephen Graves, CTV News.
NOAA predicts Maryland will feel the effects of 1 or 2 major hurricanes this period. The season will last for the next 6 months.
And just a few more weeks until the June 24th primary, and gubernatorial hopeful Delegate Heather Mizeur plans to start broadcasting an ad in the Baltimore area on Tuesday. Mizeur's commercial talks about courage and fighting for what is right. Now, the ad also touts Mizeur as the only progressive with a plan for good jobs and stronger schools that will be paid for with money from regulated marijuana.
We're not running to make history. We're running to make a real difference in Maryland.
If elected, Mizeur will become several firsts for Maryland. She'll be the first woman governor, the first openly gay governor, and the first governor from Montgomery County. And it's no surprise that politics can get dirty, but take a look at how the Maryland gubernatorial campaign ads of Doug Gansler and Anthony Brown takes hit at each other. Now, Brown, the frontrunner for the June 24th primary, was
a management fiasco, hopelessly broken. Almost $200 million wasted. Families and kids without health care. That would be Lieutenant Governor Brown, who is in charge of health care. As governor, I'll deliver on reform for Maryland.
Anthony Brown served our nation and our state. But Doug Gansler?
To drop our corporate tax rate from 8.25% to 6.
Corporations, they have enough.
I think he sounds like he's for corporate interests.
I would think he was a Republican.
Brown, the frontrunner for the June 24th primary, was tasked by Governor O'Malley with overseeing health care reforms carried out in Maryland. Gansler has proposed gradually reducing Maryland's corporate income tax rate from 8.25% to 6%, matching the rate in Virginia. But under his proposal, it would take at least 9 years for it to reach 6%. And you're watching CTV News. I'm Byron Scott.
And I'm Rochelle Metzger.